Peace. What's up, y'all? My name's Tavon. First, before I start, I want to give a shout out to Lorraine for having this platform of expression. I think we need many more of these in our communities. It's important. Let me give you a brief history on myself before I get into what I really want to build on, which is the four principles that I express to my people. Um, I'm from Boston. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. And pretty much throughout the early 2000s, I was incarcerated. So I grew up in the streets. My grandmother has 10 children. Uh, all of them have 4 or 5 children. So I got a huge family. Most of my family, was drug addicted, dealt with alcohol issues, and we were just poor. It is what it is. So I grew up in the streets. I always had a pretty decent education. I went to what we have in Boston is called a Metco busing system, which allowed inner city kids or poor kids to bus out to the suburbs and get a decent education. So from that standpoint, I always had a good American education, and I've always been a good athlete. But by the time I was 12 or 11, I lost my oldest brother, my father, and both of my oldest uncles. So I pretty much, didn't have any male figures around positive. So I pretty much looked for them in the streets. And instead of the older male figures that I looked for in the streets to help me, most people just kind of exploited my bravery, smarts, and kind of threw me to the wolves and into the streets to hustle. So I've pretty much been hustling since I was 11, 12 years old. And I've been in and out of, my first time getting arrested, I was 12 years old for an assault and battery. And from there on, I just had a whole line of history of drugs and firearms incarcerations. So I ended up graduating high school, but the year of my graduation, I picked up my first adult charge, and that pretty much forced me into a probation deal that allowed me to take I had athletic scholarships and I had academic scholarships. So I ended up taking a scholarship under, probation, pretty much forcing me to. I wouldn't have done it if they didn't force me to. It was one of the best things ever happened to me in my life, but I wouldn't have done it on my own. So I went to college for 4 years. I was a business administration major, but I was still in the streets. No matter what was going on in my life, I still didn't know how to make money. So any other way than in the street. So that's what I chose to do. And I paid for it. In my senior year of college, instead of graduating a month later, I ended up getting incarcerated, and everything went downhill from there. From that point on to I ended up doing 15 years incarcerated, mostly in the federal system. So I say all that to say now, to get to my points, what I would tell the younger me, or what I say to the youth, out there right now, there's 4 principles that I teach. There's knowledge of self, get a proper knowledge of yourself, get a proper understanding of spirituality, a proper understanding of unity, and last but by far not least, become financially literate. So I say the knowledge of self first, because if you don't have a proper knowledge of who you are, and you allow, a people to teach you who you are, who don't have your best interest at heart, then you're pretty much doomed. And that's pretty much what we deal with in America. We get an American education, an American history, and our history as Black men and women, pretty much starts with slavery. So that's how we see ourselves. The history doesn't go far back enough to show the kings and queens and mothers and fathers of civilization that we are. It's pretty much, just starts from the chains. So And that's the chains that's also on our minds as well. So that's why I say a proper knowledge of self, however you get it, is extremely important. What No matter where you get it from, it just has to be proper. And spirituality, when I say spirituality, I'm not saying I'm forcing any kind of a religion on anybody. I'm personally not a religious person. I grew up in a Jehovah's Witness household. I went to Catholic schools. I studied in the churches and the mosques, the whole nine. So I say that to say spirituality, when I say that, I mean your connection with your creator or foundation or universe or pure energy or however you see it. That's the spirituality you need to tune into. I've read every scripture front to back, Torah, Gospel, Quran, all of the books, well, not all of the books, but many books that, it describe what these books are. So what I say is, get spirituality, get in tune spiritually and understand what spirituality means to you. That's important for your growth. Unity, we're crabs in a bucket. We used to have a code back in the days, like in slavery, where it was like, listen, man, if one of the slaves escaped and went to the north, it was like, okay, once you find freedom, once you find that heaven, you either come get us and bring us up out of it, or you bring it to us and teach it. But, a lot of things kind of went wrong in that times, and people would get, to freedom and then pretty much look down on, our people that was still in captivation. That's why you can look at a 1950s or 55 Southern America versus Northern America. It's like two different worlds. Unity, man, we just got to stick together. We got to support each other's products, each other's production, whatever it is, each other's services. We just have to back each other. The same way we go buy Nike, Adidas, Puma, whatever, we have to support our own people's products and their upliftment. Financial literacy. I've never heard that term, even though I was a business major in college. Robert Kiyosaki, that was the first time I ever heard that. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He has a book and a program. Best ever. I think it's a must read for anybody that, it's just a must read. I don't know any entrepreneur or wealthy person who hasn't read that book. I'm not saying without reading it, you're not gonna be, but I just personally don't. Everybody I study references back to that easy 200-page read of a book. And then he created his program off of it. So, but financial literacy, man, like we're not taught money or wealth. That's why so many of us we just resort back to what we know. We're natural entrepreneurs. I'm talking to my brothers and sisters that's in the streets or in the struggle in any way. We're natural entrepreneurs. We do whatever it takes, that's unlawful to get money. But we design ways of being innovative and doing it. And we design teams. We do everything that it takes to do business. We just focus it in an illegal fashion. So getting financially literate, man, is everything. When I was young, we used to have a lot of people that come to us and tell us, hey, listen, man, y'all need to stay out the streets. Y'all need to stop killing each other. Y'all need to stop doing these things. Black love. You got to love your people. All of these things. And the messages were great. Loved them. And I respected the messages. But I couldn't totally adhere to the messages because not one of the messages taught me how to make money. So part of what I do when I teach in my program is I am who my message is. Like if I'm teaching you financial literacy, I'm not just telling you what to go read and what to go do. I'm telling kids, I'm telling my peers, whoever, come with me. Right now, whatever I'm doing, I do courier services with vans. We rehab houses. We do whatever, we flip houses. We do whatever it takes to get to the bag. But at the end of the day, I'm not just going to tell you how I'm getting to the bag. I'm going to tell you, listen, come with me. Come bust some walls down with me. Come get in the van with me. Come do these things, and I'm going to pay you to do these things. So while I'm teaching you or while I'm telling you, what I'm telling you, I'm going to show and prove at the same time. What I just say to the youth, get a proper knowledge of yourself, get a proper understanding of spirituality, a proper understanding of unity, and last but by far not least, become financially literate.
Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, to comment, and subscribe, and turn on the post notifications so you can be notified when the next video is posted. Thank you so much. Bye.